Welcome to Zero Credibility Sports. We're recording on the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all you Americans, the weird Americans that I don't know who listen to this podcast. Thank you so much. I'm here with
I'm sure there's like zero Americans that listen to this podcast, man.
Bro,
I'm sure.
Yeah. I can show you the Podbean like stats and info. Like actually, it's more Americans that listen to the sport than our friends.
I'm sure those stats can't be right, man. Like
I know.
It just can't be. There's something wrong with it. I'm sure.
Okay, but I mean now it's normalizing a bit more. A lot of them are coming from Australia, so it makes a bit more sense. But anyways, I digress.
If you are a person that listens to this podcast, right? I don't know. Drop a line somehow. And
drop a comment.
Hi, I listen to this.
Drop a
because
comment.
I'm not convinced that many people listen to this at all.
Whatever, man. Who knows, man? We might have like some sleeper fans all the way in America that that like our content and stuff. Who knows? Anyways, drop a comment. Drop a comment, man. We want to know. But anyways, we're going to start with the show by talking about the big NBA trades that has occurred over the last few days. Actually, most of the big trades happened on the first day.
Well, not many trades have occurred. It's all free agency. A lot of the big things are free agency.
Yes, player movements, the big player movements once the trade window opened up. And so I'm going to go through like my list, and I'm just going to go pick through like a few big ones. But I think, Justin, don't you want to shed some light on what makes this free agency window / trade window different from all the other ones in the last few years?
I mean, I guess I'm not really shedding any light on anything. Well, I mean, I was just saying how like it's so interesting that there was so much hype going into this free agency with all the big names out there, and then the second like the I guess not the deadline, but whatever the opposite of the deadline is, like the start of the free agency period. The second it started, like all the big moves, essentially all of them were confirmed, right? Essentially, The only one, like the A list, I guess, or if you even maybe the S tier, or whatever you want to call it, tier 1 or whatever,
the top
free agent that hasn't announced anything yet, is Kawhi, and like everyone else, like Kyrie, Kevin Durant, D'Angelo Russell. Anthony Davis, but I guess everyone knew Anthony Davis thing was coming already anyway. But it was like, it just, boom, just day one, all happened.
Yeah, it was a busy day one.
No, day like hour one, it just all happened.
Yeah, actually true. No, like I think like during the first day you sit in the office and you literally, because I'm in Asia and he's in Australia, so we literally just in the morning straight away when you go on Instagram, you see all these trades, all these trade movements happening all at one go. You just get dropped all that information. I think the latest trade in the day for me, the one that I missed out on because I only check my phone ever so often during work, is during like the end of the day. What? The only trade
Keep going.
No, I message you, but I don't check Instagram. But anyways, so I messed. I'm serious. Okay,
I had something in my throat.
I literally checked it in the morning at around 9 o'clock in Singapore, and like most of the trades were done. And then I messaged you at around like 1 or 2 o'clock my time. And you said, "Oh yeah, D'Lo moved to like the Warriors." I was like, "What? No, that didn't happen." And then when I checked again, that was the last few trades that went through at the end of the day. But anyways, shall we just start going through the trades? Yeah, should we?
I mean, up to you.
Okay, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Should we do player by player, or maybe we should do teams? What do you suggest?
I think really the only thing anyone's really talking about is there's 2 or 3 big stories that come out of it.
Okay, fine. Right? You want to talk about the big players first? Let's talk about big players first. Let's talk about
let's talk about the big stories, right? The big stories. Number one is the Brookyln Nets. Right? I think the Brookyln Nets came out as a big winner in this free trade, in this free agency period. partially also because they came up nowhere. Like no one was really expecting
Nowhere.
Brooklyn to, if you said before the trade happened, if you told people, oh, like Brooklyn's gonna end up with KD and Kyrie, I think no one would have guessed that.
Actually, the news was very supportive that Kyrie was going to the Nets. It was actually quite obvious about a week or 2 weeks ago when he left his agent to sign with the Rock Nation Sports. There was like a news saying, because the director of the Rock Nation Sports guy, he's brothers or he's the cousin of the GM of the Nets or something. There was some close link, and so that was a certain. But when it comes to the KD one, that was out of nowhere.
So it's just elaborating on that, just coming out of that. My understanding, right, is that Kyrie, you're right. The indications were that he wanted to go to the Nets, and for KD, the indications were that he was going to go to the Knicks.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that if you think about it, right, Kyrie probably wouldn't go to the Nets, right, if he was going to be the only guy. Right?
Yeah.
Because these days, like, to win a championship, you need at the very least 2 guys.
Yep.
Optimally, you need 3 guys, right?
Yep.
So the reality is that Kyrie wanted to go to the Nets, KD wanted to go to the Knicks. Obviously, they're good friends off the court, right?
Yep.
Apparently, they're quite good friends off the court. So I think like they probably have a conversation, right? KD is like, no, Kyrie, come to the Knicks. And Kyrie's like, no, come to the Nets instead. And KD went to the Nets. The thing is, I don't think anyone would see KD going to the Nets.
Yeah.
And I think if KD committed to the Knicks, right, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie, like, in that case, like, what's the point of me going to the Nets? Like, I'm not going to win anything there.
Yeah. I think, you're right. I think something to note is that Kevin Durant's also part of Rock Nation Sports. So it gives me a little inkling that, who knows, maybe there was some, like, some influence on, like, Rock Nation Sports' behalf. Because, like, you think about...
the story behind him not going to the Knicks was, and this is a bit controversial, was one, basically, KD had, every team out there was offering him the max, right? Yeah. The story is that the Knicks did not offer him the max, right? And that's why in the end, he decided not to go. Yeah. Or played a big influence into why he decided not to go, because he couldn't get the max. But the thing is, for him to go to the Nets, he's not on the max with the Nets.
Yep.
He's not on the max with the Nets. So the thing is, like, and so this story that's been planted out there where, like, oh, the Knicks didn't offer KD the max. There's some people that are saying, like, what the Knicks management wanted to see was they wanted to see his medical records first before they were willing to offer him the max. Because, don't forget, he's out for next year, right? He's not going to play for next year. He's really only going to play in the 2020-2021 season. Yeah. Right? So they wanted to see his records before they would commit to offering him the max. And his representative was like, no one is going to see the records. You either put a max contract on the table now or don't put one at all. Right? Yeah. So there's conflicting reports around, like, either A, the Knicks didn't want to put the max, or 2, the Knicks were willing to put a max contract. And it's just that there's other things that went on behind the scenes that KD didn't want to go to the Knicks in the end. And a lot of people are saying that's because of his friendship with Kyrie. Because the reason that KD did not take the max at the Nets, right, was because both he and Kyrie left some money on the table so that the Nets could go and get DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, and that's
who's also a good friend of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like,
I don't like this narrative. I don't like this narrative of, like, oh, KD didn't join the Knicks because they didn't give him the max. Because he joined the Nets, and the Nets didn't give him the max.
Yeah. No, I think that's nonsense. I think you're right. I think there's nonsense. That's nonsense over there. And I think, do you think this move was? It sounds like the more we talk about it, the more I feel like this was pre-planned. Ever since I think Kyrie was plotting a move to the Nets, and there was all these rumors that Kyrie and Kevin Durant were going to play together throughout the second half, at the tail end of the regular season of last year, and it eventually happened. So I just want to ask you: do you reckon that it was kind of almost set in stone during that period, or do you reckon it really just happened right before it was decided right before basically the transfer window opened up?
I think that Kyrie and KD have talked about playing together for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it's a possibility, but I think that the injury changed a lot. I think that KD's injury changed a lot because I think that, while on the one hand, like you said, Kyrie has his heart set on Nets. My understanding is that KD has his heart set on the Knicks, right? So I think maybe they had informal talks about, let's team up together, let's play together. But I don't think they had, let's play together on this team, right? I don't really think there was a decision made very far in advance around all right, we're both going to the Nets. I don't think so. But I think that the injury that KD had changed a lot. And I think it potentially changed his view and his mindset and his priorities as well. Because, in all honesty, right, the Knicks is the perfect move for KD.
Yeah.
Honestly, it couldn't be a better theoretical match, right? The Knicks are this legendary organization, in the NBA,
Mecca of basketball.
Yeah. They play in Madison Square Garden, which is, like you said, the Mecca of basketball. And they've been down and out on their luck, to put it lightly, for the past, in my lifetime of watching basketball, the Knicks have never been really that good, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got arguably the best player in the NBA, right? Who was willing to sign for you in free agency. Right? And the thing about this guy that wants to sign for you, right, is that he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? The reason he left OKC is because he wants to be the man of the team, right? He wants to win a championship. He wants to be the man of the team. At OKC, he's sharing the floor with Russell Westbrook, right? So he goes to the Warriors, and there doesn't seem to be a personality fit, so to speak. Yeah. He clashes with Draymond. Remember that clip that Harry showed us about what the owner said at the championship parade? And on the Warriors, he knows he's not the man either, right? Steph is the man, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea of okay, you go to the Knicks, right? And the Knicks win, right? The Knicks start winning, right? It's it's all because of KD, right? KD is the man on this team in potentially the biggest basketball market in the US, right? Yes. Potentially the biggest team in the US.
It's value.
The only reason they're not as big is because they're not winning right now.
Yeah.
Right? His legacy will be this guy is his legacy will be he'll be the guy that turned Knicks around, pretty much. That's what his legacy could have been.
Yeah, I think him winning one ring will instantly make him a Knicks legend, no doubt.
Yeah, but not just a Knicks legend. I think he would go down as potentially he would be seen as one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah, true. Because if you win in a historic team like the Knicks or something, for example, if LeBron wins I know the LeBron win in Cleveland is important, but I think if LeBron was to win a ring in LA, the celebrations would be 2 times as large, maybe even more. I don't even know how much people, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. The scale is just different because of the market.
Because of the market, but I also think it's because KD is he's this he's sort of a superstar that wants to. He's I think a lot of people can agree. He's the sort of guy he wants to be celebrated, right? He needs that. He needs that outside affirmation from. He needs the fans to love him. he needs the press to love him.
Yes.
He needs people to be like, "Oh, KD, you're so great, you're so great, you're so great. Oh, the fans, we love you, we love you."
He's validated.
But
That's why he creates all these burner accounts and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So at the Warriors, he even though he's winning at the Warriors, and even though a lot of people say like he's really important in our team, all that, right? The reality is that, come on, when people think of the Warriors, they think of Steph. When you ask Warrior fans who's the guy on your team, they'll say Steph.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know, man. Like it was a perfect move for KD to go to the Knicks. Like,
yeah. But I think he still go to the Nets if you win. I think he's without a doubt still the guy. But I think that the Knicks, people would look at the Knicks route if he was to go there as a much more difficult route. So and like the rewards will be higher, obviously. But
because it's just because of the history of the Knicks, right? And so in my lifetime of watching basketball, right, in 30 years, right, the Knicks have never been that good a team. Right, they never challenge, like they're not like, oh, the Knicks could win it all this year.
Away your age.
Yeah, no, I don't care, right? But it's like the Knicks could win, like they at one point they had an okay team, they had Allen Houston in his prime. They had a Stephon Marbury for one good season. They had they still had Charles Oakley banging around, in the post. Although that was much later in his career, but they were never really like, there. Right?
Do you think they ever had a top 7, like top 5 best NBA player of their equivalent generation at that time? Because now, if the Knicks were to get like Durant, like you said, arguably they've got the best player in the NBA right now. As we speak. I mean, not right now, but he's injured. But like what he posted last season, have they ever got like a superstar of that ilk?
Off the top of my head, I can't recall, but I'm leaning towards yes rather than no. Patrick Ewing. Yeah, that's right. Patrick Ewing, Carmelo Anthony. But the thing is, like, they never really had the pieces, right? Like, and they never really had the pieces to really challenge for a title. Now, like if KD goes to the Knicks, right? All of a sudden, it's like, yo, we have the KD. Who wants to come to New York and win a championship, right? Yeah. Like the pitch is so much easier, right? It's like, yo, if you come to New York, if you come to the Knicks with KD, we're gonna win championship.
Yeah.
So, like it's just, they got RJ Barrett as well, second draft pick. Yeah. They got a decent core. Dan Smith Jr. A decent young core. Like the things are looking out for the Knicks if they get KD, man. But and then I think the injury changed it all. Yeah. Because I think the injury, like, I think this was something that I saw someone, I can't remember who said it, but it was one of the Fox Sports guys. But he was saying how, like, for 6 minutes in the finals, right? When KD, how he had the calf injury. Yeah. And then he came back, and then he did his ACL. Yeah. Said for those 11 minutes where he played, or the 6 minutes where he played, right? He said that was the only time when Warriors fans really appreciated or really realized what KD was to the organization. Mm-hmm. Right? He said every other time outside of those 6 minutes in that game where he tore his ACL, he was not appreciated. He was not seen as it was not like his contribution to the Warriors by the fans, at least, was not valued, because he was an additional piece into an already championship winning team. Yeah. So he said,
we'll see. Next season they're gonna understand what they've lost. Like, I mean, they will truly understand what they've lost.
Well, I think it's more. I think his point was more around like that's what KD wants to feel like. Yeah. All the time. Not just for 11 minutes. Of his entire career at one team. That's why he wants to feel all the time, right? He wants to feel appreciated by the org, by the fans, by the press, that this is his team, and without him, this team cannot win.
Yeah.
So I think that changed a lot. And also, I think the fact that the idea of friendship and playing with people that he likes to play with factored in a lot into his go to the Nets as well. Because look, the Nets, they got Kyrie Irving, who's reportedly one of his good friends off the court, and they got DeAndre Jordan. They left money on the table for DeAndre Jordan, right? And DeAndre Jordan is also reportedly a very good friend of the two of them.
Yeah.
Right. If you think about all the past teams that he's with, right? KD, right? He's in with Westbrook and OKC, constantly arguing. He's with Steph, Clay, and Draymond at Golden State. Also, he doesn't seem to get along very well with those guys, especially Draymond. So maybe he's just like, man, I'm just tired of this, man. Like, I want to play on a team with my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I think this KD move is like probably the biggest move that's happened so far. I think I want to shed some light on the numbers. So the Nets basically, they paid Kyrie about $142 million for 4 years, which works out about $35 million, which is, I think, about fair value. But if you look at Kevin Durant's deal, right, it's like $164 million for 4 years, but he's essentially going to play for 3 years. So essentially, they're paying him about, let me do some quick maths on my calculator, $55 million a year. So they shelled out a lot for him. So my question for you was like, if you were the Knicks organization, if you were James Dolan, I think if you were in that, put in the opportunity to offer him that amount of money, I'm not saying that he would have gone to the Knicks, because for me, my take is that I think he would have gone to the Nets nonetheless, because after, like you said, he wanted to play with his friends. The injury changed a lot of, probably changed his decision making to lean towards that. But do you think that $55 million, would you have offered like the same contract to KD?
Let me answer your question by asking you a question.
Yeah.
Would you rather have $100 or a 10% chance at $10 million?
I'll take that 10% chance any day.
Yeah. So if you're the Knicks, right? Look, it could all go wrong. You offer KD the max, right? And let's say like he's never the same after the injury, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, that's the downside, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you were a shit team anyway.
Yeah, true.
So what does it matter? You know what I mean? The upside is so high.
Counterpoint. I put a very good counterpoint. But you have to understand that James Dolan, right? The New York Knicks, they've been signing a lot of players. They give them a lot of money for players who come back from bad injuries. Like, okay, obviously they're not of the same ilk, but Amari Stoudemire, Joakim Noah, Joakim Noah.
But this is the best player in the NBA.
True. Yeah, but you have to understand they've been burnt by injuries. So
those guys are not the best players in the NBA.
I know, but I'm not defending James Dolan, but I'm just putting up the point that James Dolan has been burnt by
what I'm saying is that it's a shit point. Because those guys were not the best players in the NBA. This guy's the best player in the NBA. If he's not number one, he's number 1.5. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
So that's a shit point.
I'm trying to tell you, like, just highlight the point to like people like James Dolan have signed multiple, not say star players, but players who get paid max contracts, and they come in back from injury and they never come back the same. But okay,
but it's a bad point, because while this guy is also coming back from injury, might not be the same. This guy is the best player in the league.
Yes, if he comes back at 70%, just like that finals game 3, where he just off the ball just shooting threes, he'll still be one of the best players.
What I'm saying is that he has nothing to lose, right? If the owner goes and says and gives KD the max contract, which is going to be more than quote unquote 55 mil per year, right? Because you got to give him the max. You can't give him not the max, right? And it doesn't work out, right? Let's say KD doesn't play next year, and then he comes back. The first game he's back, right? He plays for the Knicks. He does the same injury, right?
Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically, right? no one is gonna say, oh, this is such a waste of money, right? They're just gonna be like, oh, I mean, that's just like the Knicks, right? It's just their luck, right? That's just
Yep.
how they are. And the thing is, like, your perception of the Knicks remains the same. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, your team is already shit. Like, your team is already a bad team. Like, there's no
I
perception that
understand.
can go lower. Like, you have nothing to lose. Actually, you have zero to lose,
Yeah.
right?
No, my take is exactly like yours. I mean, like, from watching, like, following the NBA and listening to so many people talk about trades, I realized that, like, when it comes to, like, when you have the opportunity to sign, like, any of these, like, the top 7 players in the league or top 10 players in the league, top 7, I'll give you the top 7. These are the players which I think you should break the bank for no matter what. And this is LeBron, Giannis, Harden, AD, and KD. These 5 players, and okay, then there's our 2 like Embiid and like maybe Steph or something like. These are the players that once in a generation type of players. These are the players that, like you said, like not like you said because I think you should just break the bank for in the NBA because it's these are like monumental pieces which could change the whole outlook. These are one of those players who can really change the whole outlook of your team's future.
I mean, these are the players that win your organization championships. Yeah, that's what it is. And the thing is, like,
they're rare.
Regardless of what it is, right? Like, you said, oh, Kyrie signed for X number of years on this amount of money. KD signed on X number of years for that amount of money. The fact of the matter is that you can't really look at it that way because of the salary cap system in the NBA, right? Like, Kyrie is a max player. KD is a max player, right? The only reason that they're not on the max is because they decided to leave money on the table so that they could get their friend DeAndre Jordan on the team, right? Mm-hmm. But the way to look at it is like, would you pay Kyrie's on 4 years 141, KD's on 4 years 165 or whatever? It's like, no. Like, the reality is, like, these 2 players, they are max players. I'm not sure what the max amount is. Yes. But they are max players because their market value is so much higher than the salary cap.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. I guess it's time to move on to the other teams, like the other big teams and the other big trades. Where do you want to go first? Shall we stick in the East? Let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. So before we go to the trade, they basically signed up Ben Simmons to a max max contract of $170 million for 5 years. I just want to know what your take is. Do you feel like that's too much for a player who can't shoot, or
I mean, honestly, I don't care. It's small. It's small news. So it's not even news compared to all the free agency moves. It's like, no, like, Ben Simmons is a max player. Okay.
You think so you think he's a max player even though he can't shoot?
I think there's very few people who would say he's not.
Okay. No. I was wondering, like, because, okay, fine. Let's talk about other pieces that they acquired then. They've acquired... So they've lost Jimmy Butler, actually. They've lost Jimmy Butler, but they signed up Tobias Harris. Do you think that was a good move, or...
Yeah, sure.
Really? Like, okay. Okay, fine. Let's just talk about Jimmy Butler then. Jimmy Butler to the Heat. So what do you think motivated Jimmy Butler to move to the Miami Heat? Because wouldn't you say if he wanted to win, he would have stayed in the 76ers?
I think Jimmy Butler moved to get a max contract.
Okay. No, but apparently the 76ers were willing to offer him a max contract.
Did they offer him a max contract?
I think I heard from the news that they did, but then he wanted to. Now they're debating because he would have gotten more money in Miami.
Would he?
Yeah, no, because Miami's taxes are like known to the state are like that he doesn't pay any state tax or like really low state tax. They're talking about, okay, the only motivation he would go to Miami is because he'll get more money out of his package because there's.
So you're saying he's going to get more money out in Miami?
Yeah. So that's it.
So isn't that more of a reason to go to Miami?
Do you think it's just money? No, I'm just asking you. Do you think it's just money, and also, or do you think he's motivated to go there because it's undoubtedly his team? Whereas in Philadelphia, the best players in the 76ers is arguably Embiid, and then maybe even some people argue Simmons.
I think realistically, like he views himself as a max player, and I don't know if the Sixers offered him a max contract, but let's say they didn't, and the Heat did. I think that's important to him. So
True.
yeah, okay. And despite what people are saying, or some people say, I do think that Jimmy Butler is a max player. But the reason I say that is for economic reasons rather than his ability, right? I think his market value is higher than the salary cap. That's why he's a max player.
Okay, yeah, because he's like a popular character in the NBA, right?
No, it's not. It's like if there was no salary cap, right? LeBron would make like, let's say $100 million over like a billion. Let's say $1 billion over 5 years, right? Yeah. And then like Steph would make like $999 million over 5 years, and blah 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 blah. And then like Jimmy Butler would probably not even be in the top 10 or top 15, maybe, right?
Yeah. But
because there's a salary cap, right? The top 15 players all pretty much have the same terms, right?
Okay, I understand what you're getting at.
The top 20 players all pretty much have the same terms because there's a cap, there's a ceiling.
Yes, I understand. So he's within that realm.
Yeah.
Of max. Okay, I understand how you look at it now. Okay, what are the big moves then? Okay, they got that. What else? Okay, what about the Celtics acquiring Kemba? I think that's a very interesting move, and I think it will give Kemba. I think he's definitely going to the playoffs next year. My personal opinion, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And apparently, the news that came out of this was that apparently Michael Jordan was, he's really cheap on his team. Didn't want to go over and incur the luxury tax for the team, which is one of the reasons why Kemba decided to move on, because apparently Kemba really loves the Charlotte the Hornets, and decided to move to the Celtics. I think the Celtics obviously got worse since Kyrie left. But what's your take on the new look Celtics? They also signed Enes Kanter, by the way. So
I mean, the thing about the Hornets is I'm not sure about that. Like I fully believe that story. I think that the Hornets, early in the season when Kemba made the All-Star team, and after he made the All-Star team, Jordan was saying, "I'm going to do everything I can to re-sign this guy."
Yeah.
Right. And so it's definitely possible that things have changed between then and now. But I also think, like, for example, if you give Kemba a max contract and you go into luxury tax territory with the Hornets.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that if they have the current team, right, or they don't get better players, like they're not going to get anywhere close to even winning the division. So maybe they've thought, look, we love Kemba and all that sort of stuff. Like he's been with us his whole NBA career, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that maybe we need to blow it up and rebuild, and for that we need Kemba to go, right? Okay. Maybe.
Yeah. That means that like kind of maxed out their potential, and now it's time to blow it up and try again and to hope further.
Yeah. And I think that's a very plausible argument, because like I said, the reality is if they keep Kemba, they're still not going to be anywhere close to even winning the division.
They might make the 8th seed, and that's it, and then they get knocked out the first round. No, I agree.
What's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Them blowing it up because they moved Jeremy Lamb as well. So I mean, Jeremy Lamb moved elsewhere. So I think the team is pretty much blown up right now. So I think how it's easier to go through all these big trades. I'll just name a few big trades which I think are interesting, and you just cut in when you think, oh, this is a trade I want to talk about. Okay.
I can tell you which trades I was talking about right now. I think going back to the one like Kemba to Celtics very quickly, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Celtics do next season.
Yes.
there was a lot of people blame Kyrie for the Celtics' problems.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much I believe that, but with Kemba there, it'll be interesting to see if that young core bounces back. Then definitely, I think you can, that argument that Kyrie was the problem is going to have a lot of credibility, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can say about the Celtics. The other one is D'Angelo Russell to the Warriors. I think that's very, very interesting.
For me, the way I look at it, and from like listening to a lot of people talk about, the only reason why they signed D'Angelo, I don't know what to think about this, but so far, but the reason why they signed D'Angelo is because they didn't want to get nothing out of KD moving to the Nets, so they decided to do a sign and trade with the Nets to get D'Angelo. And then there's, once they signed D'Angelo, there were a lot of talks that how is he going to fit? The new Golden State Warriors are going to be super small because apparently they haven't decided to keep, Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins, apparently there's no market for him. They released news today. Woj basically went and said, like, apparently no no like real organizations are shopping for him right now after his like finals performance for some reason. So
it's because people are still unsure of how he is after the injury. Like after his finals performance was hampered severely by the injury. News came out after the end of the playoffs that even when he was back, he was complaining a lot of pain and soreness in the leg where he did the ACL. And he was never So there's still a lot of question marks over his conditioning and his ability after the injury.
I want to put in like another story that has popped up after this Boogie Cousins story, and it's the story about I'm not trying like. I think there's a very good story in this that's saying like apparently he wasn't fit enough to play, but because it's the finals, he decided to soldier on, and that might have impacted his performance and therefore his market value. So, do you think there's anyone to blame for this? Do you think maybe the organization, or maybe it's him for being dumb to, raise his hand and say, okay, I want to, turn up for the team to play and risk, hurting the valuation of, my market value?
I think if you're DeMarcus Cousins in that situation, you're not thinking about what's my market value in the off season, right?
Yeah.
Because, what if you playing? What if him playing? What if the Warriors won?
Then it would be a completely different story.
Exactly, but he might think, this team can't win unless I come in and help. Because we're ravaged by injury at the moment. If I don't come in and help, we won't win.
But then there wasn't that one incident where Hassan Whiteside didn't want to play during the playoffs?
But that's not the NBA. First of all, that's not the NBA Finals.
Yeah, okay, true.
And second of all, that's Hassan Whiteside. Okay. So.
But anyways, because
I don't think this idea of I know I'm not fully fit, but I might really hurt my market value in the off season if I play and then we don't win. I don't think that comes into I don't think it comes into the equation at the time.
I don't know. This Boogie Cousin one, this case is just, for me, I'm just like, I don't know, like now it's after the fact, right? Like now there's no real market for him and people are like attributing it to like, it's part of his injury, and two is about like, is he ever going to be the same, ever since these injuries, which I think are fair concerns, but maybe it would be very different if he didn't, didn't play at the finals at all. But, who knows, right?
Maybe, but I think it's like, I can't really think of a way to explain it, but it's like this conversation, like this the theme of the string of this conversation, right? It's like, well, B wouldn't happen if A didn't happen. But the thing is, like,
A happened already.
A happened already. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's fine. All right. anyways, I pray Boogie gets a club, then gets an organization. Who knows? Maybe he might.
Like what I think is that probably he'll end up somewhere where he gets like a short-term contract, a 1-year contract or something like that. Maybe for sort of like what he did with the Warriors this year, right? You get a short contract, and then you try to prove yourself. And then
build up
the
value
next year.
and stuff.
The next year you go on and get a big contract. And the thing is, like, who knows? He could get a short contract at the Nets.
Yeah. Shall we quickly talk about the Knicks deciding to like fill up their roster and kind of stink it up with Julius Randle and Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson?
They got no choice.
Oh, man. I feel
what do you want them to do? Like, all the free agents are gone. All like the tier 1 free agents are gone.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a report that they gave up when getting Kawhi as well. I think they're gonna wait.
Kawhi was never interested in going to the Knicks anyway.
Yeah, I think they're gonna wait till next year and try something again. Hopefully, they're still like you said, like they can just properly rebuild. They still have RJ Barrett and still a few picks going on. All right, I guess let's move on.
Like the Warriors, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah,
the Warriors. There's a lot of talk that they won't even be in the playoffs next season.
Oh fuck, that's ridiculous. They're definitely gonna be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Let's just go quick. I think that.
Do you think they'll win a championship?
No, but I don't think they have. Like, some people are writing them off completely, but I feel that's still the team that won 73 games if you think about it, except without Iguodala. But my main concern is like. Do you think the Warriors will struggle in terms of size? I know they kept Kevon Looney, but can they really play Steph and Clay and D'Angelo together? I know Clay is not expected to come back till next year, but I think like these a lot of people after listening to a lot of experts talk about like the innovations in science today. An ACL injury is quick to recover from. It's easy to get back to your to like almost similar type of form. Obviously not 100%, but it's easily to get back up to where you can play without troubles. So I expect Clay to come back at some point, right? Now the main question is, how would the team do at the start of the season with Steph and D'Angelo?
No, hold on. Are you talking about an Achilles tendon or are you talking about ACL?
ACL.
ACL is the one that Clay's got, right?
Yeah, the one.
And Achilles tendon is the one that Durant's got, right?
Yeah, Achilles is the nasty one, the one that not everyone comes back from. But ACL.
Yeah, so an ACL is one that people. Yeah, I don't think it's as considered as serious, or like he won't come back 100% or whatever.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like, it still takes a while. He's not gonna, in 6 months I'm gonna be 100% again because of rust and match rhythm and so on. But the main question right now is basically, can they start the season off in their new stadium with Steph and D'Angelo at the helm?
I think the system that they'll play will be very interesting to see the system that they play, because they're obviously going to have to change a bit. It'll also be interesting to see who is the point guard and who is the shooting guard. Yeah. So I have a feeling that you might see Steph playing more of a shooting guard role while Clay is out, and with D'Angelo Russell being the point. I think that people who are writing this team off as saying, the Warriors dynasty is over and blah blah blah, like, man, like, how short are people's memories, man? Like,
dude, let's not like entertain this like fucking nonsense, like, let's just go and let's get into like detailed stats. I want to throw you this stat over here that apparently D'Angelo Russell played during the last year's regular season, had 930 pick and rolls just himself, but the Warriors team had 900, like around the same number, the whole team itself. So do you reckon they'll implement him, like he'll fit well into this system, not into their system, but they'll create a system where it will kind of work out, you reckon?
I think that it is. So see, like things like that, they're very misleading, right?
Yeah.
Because if you put generic player A in a Mike D'Antoni team, right, and then you put him in, you put generic player A in a Greg Popovich team, right? The number of pick and rolls that they're going to get on their stat sheet is going to be very different.
Yeah.
Right? And on the Mike D'Antoni team, generic player A is going to be involved in like 1,000,000 times more pick and rolls than he would be in the Greg Popovich team.
Yeah.
And the difference is not because of the type of player they are.
It's more
because of
like
the system that the coach plays.
Yeah, no, but you know how D'Angelo, like when he played for the Nets, it was more ISO, right? He would just like take on, they'll have an ISO play strictly for him. That's what I'm asking. Do you think that will be the same with the Warriors, or that they'll get him?
Well, you're asking different questions because like if you're not pick and rolling on an ISO.
Okay, but do you think the Warriors have the players to do like the pick and roll as much? Like are they suited to a pick and roll type of team?
The way Steve Kerr plays is I don't know. I can't really say too much about. I wouldn't, just from my very untrained eye.
Yeah,
he doesn't particularly favor the pick and roll over a different basic setup system.
Yeah.
Like Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni is a very like pick and roll player.
Yeah.
Sorry, pick and roll coach. But Steve Kerr's not that much. Steve Kerr, I think there's a lot, let's say compared to Mike D'Antoni, there's a lot more off-ball movements, weak side screens and there's a lot more running and cutting from the guards. So the ball is in the hand of the forwards and the centers more because they have someone like Draymond who can pass the ball. So you get them off the ball. You set weak side screens and sliding doors and all that to get the guards open. And that's why when you see the highlights on House of Highlights, you see Steph running up and down. It's the system. A lot of it is the system.
Yeah,
it's the system. Because they want to get him free on the 3-point line.
Yeah.
So I think it's more likely that, put it this way, to answer your question, I think it's more likely that Steve Kerr will make D'Angelo Russell try to fit into a Warriors system more than he changes the system in order to
accommodate him.
Fit D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, okay, true. Back to the 76ers real quick. I think they got a real good pickup in Al Horford, and we forgot to talk about like Celtics losing Al Horford and them getting Enes Kanter instead. So I think this 76ers team is going to be like, it's going to be a real problem in the East, If anything, I think it's them and the Milwaukee Bucks next year. Like, what do you think? Do you think, like, even though the Nets is just Kyrie and DeAndre, you reckon they'll be up there?
I don't know if they'll be up there. I think they'll definitely be in the top 8. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. But I'm not sure. No, actually, no. Without KD, they're not going to win. They're not going to win without KD.
Yeah, but this 76ers team, I think they're a very likable team. They got like a bunch of stars. If you think of the top 5, the starting 5, it could be they could try to play Al Horford, Embiid, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and who else? And whoever else in that team, and that's a real exciting team.
In a way, it sounds good, but I can see how it can go wrong, in the sense that JJ Redick left to the Pelicans, and then you've got Horford and Embiid. Not sure like who's going to play the 4, who's going to play the 5. Just not 100% sure how they'll work together. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of them start off the bench. But yeah, I think the one thing about Sixers that maybe could be an issue could be their depth. But not too sure. Well, just waiting for. Like, you can't really make a judgment now until the season starts, because obviously there'll be moves that are going to be made in order to flesh out benches and all that sort of stuff from all the teams.
Whatever like else is being said, I think I want to like say that like I think the East got stronger. Like Pacers managed to get Brogdon from the Bucks, and they managed to get Jeremy Lamb as well. I think they're going to be. I don't know why, but maybe it's just because it's trade season. But like it feels like a lot of these like teams placed in the 4th to 8th seed, they're going to be stronger than last year. It seems like it from the trades, right? But you never know what happens till they all step down and play ball. The Bucks managed to keep Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. It's going to be basically the same team. Okay, I think the big trade on one side is on the west. The Portland Trailblazers, they kept CJ, they got Dame, and now they have Hassan Whiteside. So I want you to tell me, where do they stand in the West right now?
They're not going to win.
Not going to win. They're gonna. Do you think they're stronger? Much? Do you think they? Okay. Do you think they can beat the Warriors now?
I'm not sure.
It will definitely be closer than this year.
I'm not sure about that.
You don't reckon?
Because the thing is, like, what does Hassan Whiteside bring?
Brings that steal middle, which they didn't have. Maybe you can argue Enes Kanter, but I think Hassan Whiteside at his best is definitely way more of a problem than Enes Kanter at his best.
I think from a defensive perspective, because Hassan Whiteside is, let's be real, Hassan Whiteside is really more of a defensive player than offensive player. Although he's a pretty good offensive player. But let's be real, like he's being brought in for his ability to, his rebounds and his blocks, right?
Rebounds, yeah.
I think the thing I don't like about him is that I question his mental fortitude.
Yeah.
I know that he's a guy that tends to rub people the wrong way. He's not a guy that's easy to get along with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason that the Blazers lost to the Warriors was because, put simply, I think the Warriors guards are better than the Blazers guards, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the scoring from the Warriors comes from outside the paint, not inside the paint.
Yeah.
So if your question is, can the Blazers beat the Warriors with Whiteside? I would say I don't think much has changed.
They'll still get outgunned. They might get more rebounds and more chances, but they'll still get outgunned.
Yeah, but having said that, it's a different team now because there's no Kevin Durant, right? So that makes things a bit murkier. But my gut feeling would be like nothing has really changed because Hassan Whiteside doesn't give you perimeter defense.
Yeah, but KD didn't really play much of that finals anyways, remember? He dropped out after game 1 or game 2.
Yeah. But it's again, it's one of those things where like for me, like Hassan Whiteside doesn't give you perimeter defense, right? He gives you interior defense. And the Warriors don't like their primary scoring is perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
My gut feeling is no.
Okay. I know I shed some light. I just want to say again, man, this Pacers team, I'm looking at this new Pacers team, and I think they're going to be really good. Once Oladipo comes back, he's going to
win it out.
I know, but like it's going to be interesting, man. Malcolm Brogdon's going to be, play with him. That amount of the amount of width, the wingspan that they have, they're going to be like probably one of the better defensive, backcourt you will see. And then, okay, what about the Utah Jazz? A lot of people are sleeping on the Utah Jazz.
No, I don't think a lot of people are sleeping on the Utah Jazz. I think a lot of people are very actually see the Utah Jazz as having been a big winner, actually.
Yeah, they got Mike Conley. They managed to get what's that guy's name? That European player name. What's his name? Oh yeah, here you go. Bojan Bogdanovic. And they still managed to keep Jokic and the whole squad. Don't you think that's gonna give I think they're gonna cause a lot of trouble. I think it wouldn't be beyond them to finish first in the West next year.
Yeah, potentially, but they won't win it.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let's go simple then. Who do you think is going to win it based on now? I know before the Kawhi trade. Okay, Kawhi is still yet to move. That could change everything. Right now, who do you think is going to win it? Because you keep saying they're not going to win it. They're not going to win it.
Right now, I think the clear favorites are Lakers.
Even though without like a proper squad, just AD and LeBron.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. No, I think they're definitely up there. I don't know if they're the favorites. I personally think the East is stronger than the West now. I might be wrong, but like just looking at all these trades and looking at all the teams that got better in the East, I think they could be potentially better than the West.
So who's going to win it?
Right now, based on right now, I actually lean more towards maybe someone like the Bucks or even the Bucks or even maybe the 76ers.
If anything, the Bucks got worse, right? If anything.
But I'm banking on Giannis to with more playoff experience, and the rest of the squad to have more playoff experience. They might do well. The 76ers, don't get me they were the closest team to beat the Raptors last year. So, and I think they got better after signing Al Horford. Yes, they lost one of their best playoff performers in the form of Jimmy Butler. But if Joel Embiid turns up, I think.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, just pause. So you just said you think the Bucks are the favorite. I said
the 70s and all the 76ers.
Yeah, well, hold on. I said, look, if anything, the Bucks got worse because they haven't acquired anyone of note, and they've lost one of their players, right?
Brookyln, yeah.
And you said, well, the Sixers were the closest to them last year and almost beat them, and I think the Sixers got better. So if the Bucks have gotten worse and the Sixers have gotten better, isn't the favorite based on your logic the Sixers, not the Bucks?
No, the 76ers. I said it's between the 76ers and the Bucks. I didn't say Milwaukee definitely number one. I'm saying
you said the Bucks.
No, but I meant both.
Listen to the recording.
No, I meant both those teams.
Okay.
I think both those teams are up there. I still think there's a good chance that the Bucks could be competing because I think Giannis will improve in the next playoffs. Even though he did really well this last playoffs, but I think he'll be even better. I might be wrong, but yeah, okay. I think when it comes to
who's going to win it?
In terms of all these trades,
so as things stand today, who's the favorite to win it?
76ers. I'll go 76ers.
So not the Bucks.
Motherfucker, I said their two are up there. They're my top two.
Listen, that's not what I said, man. You can listen back to the recording.
Let me get to explain. I didn't say, Bucks are outright number one. I said I think one of the East teams will win. I think the Bucks have a chance, and I think the 76ers had a chance. But if you ask me...
No. That's not what was said. No, I said, who do you think is going to win it? You said, actually, I think the West is really strong. Or the East is really strong.
No, I said the East is stronger this year. I think it'll be one.
And then you said, I think the Bucks. Then I said, really? Because to me the Bucks got weaker.
Okay. Well, no, but I meant one of the East teams because I think those two teams are really strong. But okay, if you want to put words in my mouth, okay.
I don't have to because it's recorded and you can go back and listen to the recording.
Oh my God, can we just move on? Fuck. Okay. Anyways, I think the East teams are stronger. Even though that the Lakers have AD and LeBron, but who else do they have? Do you really think Dudley is that big of a question? Apparently, J.R. Smith is going to move there as well. I hope he does because I hope they manage to sign back Rajon Rondo and Lance Stevenson and Kuzma. But yeah, true.
You asked the thing is, you asked who else do they have? the question I put is, who else do they need?
Dude, now let's just move on to the next topic again, which is simple. Where's Kawhi going, dude? There's 3 possibilities according to the latest reports. It's either the Clippers.
And the reality is that no one knows.
Yes, okay, I know, but I want to know what you think. So there's the Clippers.
I don't know.
The Lakers, and the Raptors. You don't know.
Honestly,
Okay,
I don't know.
I'll give my take. So the more I've listened to it, like last week, my thoughts were like he was either going to stay with the Raptors because I think he's had a wonderful time there based on, all the news, based on the fan love, based on how the GM and how the team, how the GM and the organization basically allowed him to operate the way he wanted to, unlike, which he couldn't have done in the Spurs. And he won a ring there, and he probably, experienced like true Canadian love after that, and maybe that might have convinced him to stay. That's one. And my other option was more likely the Clippers, because I thought he would be put off by the fact to play second fiddle and potentially third fiddle to AD and LeBron. But after the more, the news that come out, which half of it could be bullshit, half could be true, who knows? I think there's a strong possibility. Now my take is that he's more likely to go back to the Raptors or go to the Lakers, and I think Clippers are out of the question, in my personal opinion. If you put a gun to my head, I actually think he's going to go to the Lakers. I'll put money that he's going to go to the Lakers. And I can tell you why. First of all,
okay.
he was, huh?
No, I said okay. Tell us why.
I don't think there's any reason for him to go back to the Raptors after all these trades that have eventuated, because I don't think they will have a shred of a chance of beating the 76ers this year. I might be wrong, but just looking at the trades that happened, the 76ers gotten stronger, and last year they were just one shot away from beating the Raptors. And I think in that game they were actually more. I watched the game; they were more dangerous than the Raptors, in my personal opinion. And they were during the fourth quarter, they were being lashed by the 76ers. But they just, once the Raptors managed to get a lead, they struggled to get that bucket to cross the line. And this, I explained in one of the few previous episodes before. One of the big factors was that Joel Embiid's health wasn't good. He wasn't on form. And I think this year it will be different. Hopefully, if he managed to keep himself happy and then managed to manage his load management all right, I think Joel Embiid comes out. If he manages to be 100% for that game, it will be a complete different story. So that being said, if you were Kawhi, why would you go back to Toronto if you know that you struggle to win this year? And now that there are 2 other options, right? So there's the Clippers,
because he doesn't know that he's going to struggle this year.
I think it's quite evident. For me, in my personal opinion, I think if I was Kawhi, I'll be looking at, okay, if I go back to the Raptors this year, I don't think the team's strong enough to compete because of the playing field has changed after all these trades. Looking at the Clippers, they didn't manage to get KD. So, and right now, I think a lot of people say, oh yeah, the Clippers are really good. They gave the Warriors a run, kind of a difficult run in that series. They managed to take 2 games off them. But if you really look at the squad, yeah, they have a perennial 6-man of the year winner in the form of Lou Williams, a dog in Patrick Beverley. Shout out Patrick Beverley, the man who just got paid really well. I don't think there's enough talent for them to really make a push. They might make the playoffs again, maybe, if they get Kawhi, but I don't see them winning. So I think for me, logically, why wouldn't you just go to the Lakers and confirm multiple rings?
Do you think Kawhi thought he was going to win a championship at the Raptors this season?
No.
Do you think anyone thought the Raptors were going to win a championship this season?
No.
Who's the second best player in the Raptors? Exactly.
I don't think it's clear.
So,
no, but the playing field has changed.
So this idea that he wouldn't go to the Clippers because they don't have good players. right? It's like, who knows? I think that based on what I've read and I've seen and I've heard, there is no one that knows.
Yeah, no one knows
where he's going. There's some people that said, oh, I've heard like the Lakers have already signed, like it's already done. It's already a done deal. It's just waiting for announcement, but it's already a done deal. I've heard other people say that, oh no, he was gonna go with Lakers, but then like Toronto managed to convince him, or the Clippers managed to convince him. Like the fact that the reality is, I think, and this is the story that's getting more traction in the past couple of days, is that no one actually knows. It's because he himself hasn't made up his mind. I think if you put on all three teams side by side, right, like the Raptors, the Lakers, and the Clippers, I think that the most compelling, I guess, if your target is to win a championship, in which it should be, the most immediate, the most clear and obvious one that you can see is probably the Lakers, right? Because it's going to be with LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
But I think that there are probably other reasons as well.
Yeah.
Where you can argue for why, Team B or Team C is better than Team A.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that, and all of them are not bad reasons.
Yeah.
If you want, let me put it to you. So the Lakers, what's the best reason to go there? You can win a championship because you'll be LeBron and AD. It'll probably be the easiest championship that you win. And because, you're the favorites. Think of the starting five for the Lakers, right? It'll be LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Kuzma. Then whoever's number 5. All right? That's like on the floor every night. Your 4 main guys are going to be on the floor every night. LeBron, AD, Kuzma, Kawhi.
Yeah.
So that's the argument for Lakers. Now for the Raptors is, look, no one expected to win last season. You carried this team to win this last season.
Yeah.
You were the man of this team, and you elevated everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? When you came here, no one thought you win a championship. I just asked you, who's the second best player on the Raptors? And you couldn't give me an answer. Right? The reason is because that team and everyone else at that team was elevated because of him. Right?
Yeah.
No one knew who Pascal Siakam was. No one knew who Fred VanVleet was. No one knew any of those guys. Right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, like, look, when you came to us and we won, right? On this team, you are undoubtedly number 1 top dog, no questions asked.
Yeah.
If you go to the Lakers, you're not going to be number 1. Hell, you might not even be number 2.
Yeah, well, my argument for that is that I think, okay, this is like obviously a lot of like scenario assumptions, right? I think LeBron's on his way out personally. I think in a few years, he's going to want to play with his son. So he's going to be like, here's the keys to be the man. And I think AD has a very complimentary personality to say, I don't need to be Batman. That's why he's there in the Lakers right now. So, yeah, you could argue that, maybe AD is the next up, the guy next up. Because LeBron was, I think he's the type of player who's willing to hand the keys. He said that about Kyrie, right? He's like, I was going to, give him the keys to the city, I
mean, the fact of the matter is that when you're on a LeBron team, right, like, you will not be number 1. Like, that's just how it is. Like,
well,
and the thing is, look, like 3 years from now, right, when he's 36 years old or something. Well,
he's 35 this year.
All right, so 3 years from now, he's 38 years old, right? It might be, that might be true, right? Because he just doesn't have the legs to play every game anymore, right?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, when you're on a LeBron team, you're not going to be number 1, right? And I say he might not even be number 2 because AD is there now. So that's the argument for the Raptors. And look, it's a credible argument, right? I'm not saying it's a better argument, but I'm saying it's a credible argument. The case for the Clippers, right? The case for the Clippers is, look, Kawhi, look what you did. Look what you did with the Raptors last season, right? You can do that here. You can do that here in LA with the Clippers. Like, Kawhi Leonard was born in LA. He lived in LA as a kid, right? LA is his home. That's why he wants to go to LA, right? So it's like, look, you can do the same, but do it in your hometown in LA. You could go to the Lakers, right? Or you can come here. The Clippers, by many accounts, are the best run team in the NBA in terms of management from top to bottom. They have an owner who is, by many accounts, a very good owner.
No, he's the richest owner in the world. Fact.
I mean, no, I definitely would not say that. But I would say he's
okay, not in all of sports, but he's the richest owner in basketball apparently.
Yeah, I mean potentially, but the thing about him is it's not about whether Steve Ballmer, and I don't know if you know who Steve Ballmer is, but it's not about whether Steve Ballmer is like, you know, the
CEO of Microsoft, former CEO of Microsoft. But yes,
quick googling. But anyway, I don't know.
Okay, do you remember Donald Sterling?
Yeah, I think the less we remember about that guy, the better.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, but.
Yeah, I think he's probably part of the reason why the NBA had decided to phase out the word owners. But anyway, sorry, my train of thought. Yeah, like he's very rich. But the thing about it is that he's committed to the team. You can have a lot of money, but you don't want to put any of that money into the team, right? But he is one of those guys who he has a lot of money. Like you said, probably one of the richest owners in the NBA. But the difference is that he has shown that he's willing to put money into the team, and not just in regards to players, but also in regards to revamping the management and the staff and the personnel from top to bottom. The Clippers' proposition could be: look, we have such a great organization here. All we need is a star player to bring us a championship. Like, you could be that guy. Like, you could bring the Clippers a championship.
Yeah, I know it could be, but like,
and you could do the same that you did in Toronto here, and we will support you.
Yeah,
okay. Like between the Raptors, the Lakers, and the Clippers arguably have the best coach as well in Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers. Okay. So, before you can go any further and just try to fucking forget the fact that, do you think, okay, if you run the season 100 times last year, how many times do you think the Raptors would have won the championship?
You mean the playoffs or the season?
Okay, let's say playoffs. Just make it simple. The playoffs.
I don't know. I think you'd probably see the Warriors win it more often.
Yeah. So, okay. So when you put up the point that, oh yeah, like I know. Yes, that's a very credible point that if Kawhi does it on the Clippers team, for example, like he would be up there up there with the greatest players ever to win three NBA finals and potentially 3 MVP awards with different organizations. Yes, but surely if you were Kawhi now, looking rationally, just looking at the probabilities, wouldn't your highest probability of winning multiple rings be the Lakers? And like, wouldn't you think that's the best choice? Okay, I know there's an argument for saying like, well, Kawhi's like history has always been, beating the super teams. But I don't think that really matters for him anymore because he's done it twice already, right? Wouldn't it be like great for him to play for like a big organization like the Lakers? Because like don't you think the LA Clippers is like the Nets equivalent to the Knicks and the Clippers to the Lakers?
Yeah, but I don't think that really matters because, look, I'm not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not arguing that he should go to the Clippers over the Lakers or the Raptors. What I'm doing is I'm presenting you like these are the three. Possibly, I don't know because I'm not there. But these are possibly like when he takes a meeting with the Lakers, that's probably what they'll say. When he takes a meeting with the Raptors, that's probably what they'll say. And when he takes a meeting with the Clippers, that's probably what they'll say. Ultimately, whichever one he decides to choose, right? I don't think that there's I can understand those reasons. I think those reasons are very each of them have their individually very good reasons. There's not one sort of.
Okay, I understand.
Like from an org perspective, right? From an organization perspective, I think those are 3 very compelling reasons, and those reasons are very independent of one another. The Lakers saying we can offer you this that no other team has. The Raptors are saying we can offer you this that no other team has, and the Clippers we can offer you this that no other team has, and they're all right. They're all correct.
Okay. Instead of saying what's the right move,
I don't think you.
So the question is not what is the right move then. I think a good question would be, what do you want to happen? Okay, I'll tell you what I want to happen. I want to see that team. I want to see that Lakers team. I want to see that trio with LeBron, LeBron, AD, and Kawhi. That's what I want to see. What do you want to see?
I want to see. I think if I had a choice, I think from a neutral, I want to see him not be at the Lakers. I want to see him be either the Raptors or the Clippers.
Wow.
And a big reason why is because this is something that Charles Barkley brought up a few months ago before the draft, when people were pulling for the Knicks to get Zion, right? It's saying like, why does everyone want the best players just to be at the big market teams? Like, why can't the best players be at the smaller teams? Doesn't that make the NBA more exciting and more fun? And
I don't know. I don't care.
I think that's true.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. I don't care if he's at a big market team, but don't you want to see like potentially a team that could contend with like the big three at Chicago or the former big three? Or don't you want to see like the new potentially best big three you will ever see?
Isn't the big three, the most recent big three that we have, Steph, Clay, and KD?
Yeah. No, yes. But now that's gone. And this potentially could be the new big three.
It could potentially be the new big three, but
I could argue that you could be argued that this big three might be even better than that big three. I mean, it could be.
I know. I mean, definitely there's potential, but said like as a neutral, like I think it'd be amazing. For example, if Kawhi went to the Clippers, right, and won, and they beat the Lakers.
Yeah, but I think that chance is very low in my Okay, actually, I think they could beat the Lakers, but to win, I think that's tough, man. I personally think that's very tough. But yeah, who knows? Maybe
the thing is, it's tough, right? You're right. It's tough. But if there's one person who
could do it,
who knows exactly how tough it is or what needs to be done,
it's Kawhi.
Exactly. So he's in the best position to make this thing because he's been through it before. So he has the most realistic, most experience in terms of, I know exactly what we need to do.
Okay, but would you agree with me if he was to join the Raptors or the Clippers, he's basically playing the game on like a hard difficulty? Like extremely hard.
I think there's a lot of factors that people don't talk about or people don't realize that will play into this decision, much more so than
just basketball.
Much more so than if I just go to this team, I'll just win a championship. For example, a few weeks ago, I think, it was a Lou Williams interview, which I think this was, I can't believe, like, I've never thought of it before. But he said the thing that goes against Toronto and has always gone against Toronto when recruiting players, right, is the fact that you feel like you're playing overseas instead of playing the US. Mm-hmm. And the person asking, like, no, like, why do you say that? They're in Canada. And he's like, yeah, because I think about it, right? When your home game is in Canada, like when you go home after practice, right? Your TV channels are different. You drive, like, whenever you go for away games, right? Like not at home, you go from Toronto into the US, right? Or when you go home, you go from the US to Canada, right? Mm-hmm. You have to go into the foreign passport line instead of the domestic line. You have to open a Canadian bank account, get a Canadian bank card, all that sort of stuff, all this real life stuff. You use different currency, right? All these different countries. Says it feels like you're playing overseas. And he says that's what a lot of players don't like. And you know what? I thought that's a great point. I never really thought about that.
Okay. Well, I have but there are players who have like surprised me and said differently, saying that, ooh, I love it in Canada. It's just like, it just depends on the person, right? Whether they like it there or not.
No, you're not
I know what
understanding.
you're talking about.
What
They
I'm
feel like-
saying is that when someone asks them how do you feel in Toronto, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I love the city, I love all this, I love all that." Of course, but Lou Williams is talking about because that's when you talk to the press. How are you how's the fans, all that sort of stuff, right? Thing is, like, Lou Williams is talking from an insider's perspective, right? Like Lou Williams is someone that has played in Toronto before.
Yeah.
Lou Williams knows many people that's played in Toronto, and this is what he's saying from, he's talking about when you're not doing the PR stuff, and I think that was very interesting. And if you look back, right, you look back at the players that play in Toronto, right, you can see that they've got. It's just interesting that they have quite a high number of international players, and I think this is a big reason why, right? Because those international players, whether they play in Canada or whether they play in the US, it doesn't matter to them because they're playing overseas. If you're in Canada, yeah. But if you're a US player, if you're an American player, and you go to Toronto, all of a sudden it's like, I feel like I'm playing overseas. I don't feel like I'm playing America anymore.
Yeah, and especially in an American an American basketball tournament.
Exactly. And a lot of these players, they like American basketball players, they're a bit like English football players, right? Like, they're very comfortable in their little
in their home country.
Yeah. So
they don't feel like they're being shipped off somewhere. They feel like they're being shipped off, even though it's just next door.
I don't know about that. I think it's just more a bit of.
Yeah, I understand.
They just want to be comfortable, They just want to be comfortable. Like, how many English players do you see move overseas? Not many.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's a bit to it, but I think when it comes to, like, after just winning a championship there, I don't think the factor is as huge of a thing. Marketing to a new player, especially if they manage to keep Kawhi. But I think, like, you're right. I think, like, okay, but what do you think is going to happen then? Do you think Kawhi?
I don't know. I know as much as anybody else. But I think the answer is no one actually knows.
Okay, cool. Okay, I think that's about it. I think the NBA awards. Giannis won the MVP. Doncic.
Whatever, don't talk about that shit. All shit.
Oh shit! But what do you think of the Coach of the Year thing? I think the only contentious thing, in my opinion, is maybe the Coach of the Year thing. Don't you think Doc Rivers? I think Doc Rivers had a credible shout for that. No?
I mean, like, don't really care, to be honest.
All right, okay. But I thought that should have happened. But I mean, Mike Budenholzer did really well for. I mean, they topped the East. So yeah. Okay, that's my take on it. I think that's it for today. Yeah. All right. We'll see. I think we'll have another episode once we figure out where Kawhi lands, or maybe on football. But I think that's it. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Goodbye.